Hey, welcome back. So today I really wanted to talk about something that is pertinent to this time of year. Where I live here in Utah, it's a little late to start most things from seed, especially things like tomatoes and peppers. But if you go to purchase those plants at like Home Depot or Lowe's, it can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot of different choices and people may not know how to choose between plants. So I wanted to talk to you today about the difference between determinate and indeterminate plants and how you can choose the best to put in your garden. Okay, so if you head over to your local big box store or if you have a smaller local nursery, you're going to find plants. Obviously, these are ones that we started, but you're going to see them with tags like this. One of the things that I wish I'd known right out of the gate is that there are essentially two different types of plants in the sense of determinate versus indeterminate. And what does that mean? So determinate plants are plants that are going to become a determined size and they are going to produce a predetermined amount of fruit or produce. So in the case of a tomato, a Roma tomato is a determinant type of tomato. And an indeterminate is a type that is going to continue to grow and it is going to continue to produce fruit as long as the circumstances are right. So as long as it's getting enough water, sun, the temperature stays right, it's going to continue to produce that fruit. And so you kind of go, well, why in the world would anyone get a determinate tomato versus an indeterminate if you're going to get way more fruit off one than you are the other? Well, I wanted to show you, first off, how you can be able to tell if it's determinate or indeterminate. And so I have these two tags here. So this one you can see is a beefsteak tomato. It says it's an heirloom tomato. And then on the very bottom down there, you can see that it says indeterminate. Okay, so if you're looking at these type of tags when you go to the store to purchase your plants, you'll be able to tell if it's determinate or indeterminate on the tag some of the time. Now, some of the time, they're not even going to have it posted on here, and you'll want to look up this brand, right? This type of plant. Another thing that you'll notice on here is this plant says heirloom, and this one says hybrid. Okay, this one's also indeterminate. I typically have indeterminate plants in my garden because I want to have them for a long time and get lots of fruit off of them. Now, that really is a great thing if we get a long growing season, but a couple reasons why determinate plants might be better for you is if you have a shorter growing season. So you know that you only have so many days to get this plant to maturity and harvest all of those tomatoes or peppers or whatever it is that you're getting. In that case, or if you get a super late start on them, right, that might be something similar. A determinate variety might be better of a choice for you because you know all that fruit's going to come on at once, as opposed to trying to get a plant that's going to trickle fruit out to you. So a determinate plant is also great depending on how you plan to use it. So my dad, for example, he usually plants indeterminate varieties to get lots of tomatoes throughout the season, but then he'll plant a couple Roma tomatoes, which are determinate, because they produce all their fruit kind of at once. What's great about determinate fruit in that way is if you're planning to can it, those tomatoes are going to all be ready at the same time to pick, to process, and to put up. And so I mean, there were times where I would go to his house and I would get 5 flats of tomatoes that would all come on at the same time. Another reason a determinate variety might be a great choice for you is if you want those tomatoes to all come on at once, because you're not really going to eat a lot of them fresh. You're going to put them up or you're going to freeze them. you know, different types of things. I don't recommend like freezing a whole tomato. Trust me, that would be a mushy mess. But if you're going to create sauces to can or to freeze or things like that, then getting those all at once is not only going to help you just do that process once, but then you can actually tear the plant out and you can actually plant something else there. So once that tomato comes on, it gives you all of the tomatoes, and then you can rip it out of the ground and put something else in its place. So if fresh tomatoes aren't really your thing, then this is a really great way to choose a variety that's going to give you a big harvest all at once, and then free up that space in your garden and plant something that's going to do well after your tomatoes have produced. So cool weather things, you could plant, you know, like broccoli and cauliflower, as long as your temperature is going to be okay. If you're planting the tomatoes on a trellis, once it starts to cool back down, you could in turn do beans or peas or things that don't really do as well getting started when the temperature is super hot. So I hope that that's really helpful. A great resource always is going to be looking at the tags, and they should tell you if the plant, especially tomatoes, if they're determinate or indeterminate. And if you can't find that on the actual tag, look up the specific variety that you have. There are so many choices of tomatoes out there, and you want to know, am I going to get the harvest all at once or not, not for a longer time? Like, it's not going to produce all at once, it's going to produce throughout the season. So that's something that you can check. And I hope that this gives you a little bit of help in determining which plant is going to be better for you, and so you can make the right purchase for your needs and your garden when you head off to the store to buy your plants. Thanks so much. See you next time.